Welcome, welcome. This is the Business English Career Playbook, your friendly guide to navigating the world of business in English. We're here to have insightful discussions about key business areas and help your language skills flourish. Ready to make progress? The first step is easy. Just subscribe so you're always in the loop. Workplace conflict. Most people run from it, but what if I told you that companies with healthy disagreement are 41% more likely to see breakthrough innovation? That's right. Those uncomfortable moments might be exactly what your team needs.
That's fascinating data, and it really challenges the common belief that a good workplace is one without any friction.
You know what's even more interesting? Studies show that teams that never experience conflict are often the ones performing below average. I've seen this firsthand in tech companies where everyone's so focused on being nice that they miss critical flaws in their products.
Hmm, that makes me think about a situation I witnessed where two department heads were constantly butting heads. Everyone thought it was terrible for the company, but their tension actually led to some major improvements in how projects were managed.
Let's break down why that worked. The foundation of effective conflict resolution isn't about eliminating disagreement. It's about creating what psychologists call psychological safety. When people feel safe enough to express concerns without fear of retaliation, something remarkable happens.
So, what's the practical approach to building that kind of environment?
Well, research from Google's Project Aristotle found that teams with high psychological safety outperformed others by 47%. The key is what I call the root cause deep dive. Instead of addressing surface level disagreements, you dig deeper to find the underlying issues.
That reminds me of the iceberg model, where what we see above the surface is just a tiny fraction of what's really going on.
Exactly. And here's what's fascinating. A recent workplace study showed that 85% of conflicts stem from unclear expectations or miscommunication rather than actual disagreement about the issue at hand.
That actually explains why some of the most heated arguments I've seen were about seemingly trivial things, like email chains or meeting schedules.
Right. And this connects to what organizational psychologists call the attribution error, where we tend to attribute others' actions to their character rather than circumstances. For example, we might think a colleague is being difficult when they're actually under intense pressure we don't know about.
That's really interesting. It's like we're all writing different stories about the same situation.
And speaking of stories, let me share something remarkable. Companies that implemented structured conflict resolution training saw a 50% reduction in formal grievances and a 30% increase in team collaboration scores.
Those numbers are impressive. What specific techniques drove those results?
The most effective approach combines what I call the 3 C's. When people are calm enough to listen, clear enough to articulate their position, and curious enough to consider other perspectives. Research shows this approach leads to successful resolution 89% of the time.
That makes so much sense, especially the curiosity part. It's hard to be defensive and curious at the same time.
You know what's really fascinating? The Harvard Negotiation Project found that teams that approach conflict with curiosity are 3.5 times more likely to find innovative solutions than those who approach it with a win-lose mindset.
Hmm. And I imagine this becomes even more important in our increasingly remote work environment.
Oh, absolutely. And here's a surprising stat. Virtual teams actually report 63% more misunderstandings than in-person teams. But those who use structured conflict resolution techniques see better outcomes than even their in-person counterparts.
That's unexpected. Why do you think that is?
Well, the research suggests it's because virtual teams are forced to be more intentional about their communication. They can't rely on casual hallway conversations to clear things up, so they develop more robust processes for addressing issues.
That's such a powerful insight about how constraints can actually lead to better outcomes.
And here's the bottom line. Workplace conflict isn't going away, but we now have data showing that teams who handle it well outperform their peers by up to 40% on key metrics like innovation, employee retention, and customer satisfaction.
Those are the kind of numbers that should make any organization take notice.
Looking ahead, as workplaces become more diverse and complex, these skills will only become more crucial. The companies that thrive will be the ones that view conflict not as a problem to solve, but as an opportunity to grow stronger. And with that, we've reached the end of our session. A huge thank you for joining me on the Business English Career Playbook. Your commitment to practicing your English is fantastic. If you're enjoying the journey, please hit that subscribe button.